Welcome everybody to the conversation. Bridge the Gap. This is Tyquan, your host. I got special guests here. My man, my brother, DJ Lean Rock. You know, Floor Lord's crew, Horsepower, Squadron. What else? What other crews you rep? I can't remember. That's it.
I mean,
Flavor Squad.
I'm repping right now. So.
Word. No doubt, bro. Word. So you out in LA right now, right?
Yup.
Word. That's good, man. I mean, so let's start this.
Okay.
I'm sure people know who Lean Rock is, right? But a lot of people don't know your background. So maybe you can summarize, who you are and how you got into the hip hop culture and how that affects you in, eventually being a DJ. So go ahead, bro.
So, I started off, of course, as a b-boy first. Thanks to my dad. My dad's like, OG in the scene, Leansky.
Right.
He's been putting it down since the early 80s. I just kind of grew up just in the culture itself. Breaking with El Nino, and then we had another cousin, Rhino, B-Boy Flight.
Right.
Wind Dragon, and a couple others. And then, we just connected with other guys like K-Mel, Abstract, Technique, pretty much Boogie Rats, Skill Methods, and then Ivan would come down. So I just grew up around a lot of, nasty B-boys, whatever.
Right.
And then it was just a matter of time where as I was getting older, I started collecting records a little bit. My dad had like a setup. So I would just go in the back room. They had like records back there. And I wouldn't really play off the turntables, but I was just like curious about the records, whatever. So
right.
I was just like looking at album covers and just looking at the vinyl. And then I think when it really hit me is when I went to Pro-Am 2000, when I seen DJ Lacy play live for the first time. So
rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. I went to that jam and he was playing things that I never heard before.
Right.
Prior to that time, like you kind of hear the same music. Most of the music you would hear would be from like the Ultimate Breaks and Beats. Shout out to Breakbeat Lou. And then a lot of the 90s hip hop. And then sometimes you'd even hear electro. But I think hearing Lacy was just like a fresh air, like something new, but at the same time old. He brought back just the digging element and actually brought back a lot of the classic, you could say, Zulu styles from like the old Zulu beats. And a lot of the records that Bam and Jazzy J used to play. So it was just like a breath of fresh air.
And he's from UK, right?
Yeah, he's from the UK. So apparently I heard, I'm not sure if it's true, but I heard his brother used to have a radio show. And they brought up Bam, and he had like a list of all these records that they used to play. And
right.
Lacy's brother got a hold of that list, but I don't know. I'm not like 100% sure on that, but that's a rumor that I heard. I have to like check with Aiden on that.
Okay.
But I have a lot of history with breaking. It's just I'll get more into the DJ aspect of it. I can go on forever about breaking.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been breaking since I was pretty much.
I feel you. Yep, exactly, man. So how do you get into DJing?
Well, I started buying records first, and I got really into digging. Like I said, after going to Pro-Am 2000, and then my dad would take me to this spot called Traffic, which would distribute a lot of like reissued funk records and like a lot of the new funk records. So I was just like digging with him, and like he would be listening to some records on one listening station, and I'll be listening to some other records on another listening station. So I was kind of like getting records for him a little bit. And then, and then I met Khan from Khan and the Mayor And he kind of put me on to more of the rare groove stuff, a lot more of the rare records, like the library records.
Right.
Like unknown Latin records and crazy, like, joints from Belgium, crazy Dutch funk. So, yeah, he put me on to a lot of that. And after that, I already knew, like, damn, there's so much music out here that we don't know about that we could dance to. So just shortly after I got old enough, I started making a little money, you know, battling and winning competitions, whatever. And I would use that to buy records. And then just, it was a matter of time. My dad was like, you know, you got all these records. I think it's time for you to jump on these decks.
Right.
And yeah, I'm filming from my restroom right now. I'm on the toilet, you know.
So you went. So this is all in Boston, right?
Yeah, this is all in Boston.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, all in Boston.
Word.
Dang, Omar threw me off topic right now. Damn. That what it's talking about. Oh yeah, so I started winning some competitions with Breakin, and using all that money to buy records, just like mainly just break beats. So yeah, after that, I just made some mixes, and from there just kind of took off a little bit. At first, I wasn't really like sure about it though. Like, I was kind of nervous to go out and DJ and spin music that was so personal to me. But it was actually the homie Polsky who kind of showed me things on a more business level, showing me how to like promote myself as a DJ.
Right.
Or about marketing through him.
Shout out to Polsky.
Yeah, shout out to Polsky. And yeah, so I would say it's just a mixture of all those things, just the inspiration from Lacey Khan, and then my dad being the push, and then Polsky kind of guided me with
I think I was at that jam when you first DJ. That was in the Bronx, right? New York. That was you know, when K Mel and Chase got into it.
No. Actually, it was.
Wasn't that the one?
Same jam. It was the same jam, but year after. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but during that time, that's when I was really into it. Like, that's when I started DJing.
Yeah, that's right. You were battling with Poop.
I think you were chilling with us.
Right.
And then, you know, we were just talking about music or whatever. I think it was at a Skills' spot. And that's actually when I started building with Polsky after that. And I just...
After that jam that we were at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Off of Fame Bronx.
Yeah.
And the year after, you know, I kept in contact with Polsky and we were just building. And then he gave me a shot to spin my first jam out of state.
Word.
Which was crazy. It was like one of my first jams, actually, that I spun.
That's dope, bro.
I literally spun like 2 jams before that. The first jam I ever spun at was actually a Ken Swift jam. It was
word up.
A Lost Art. So it was just kind of like, I don't know, I felt like I got put in this place to kind of, all right, I need to step it up, you know, and I need to do my thing.
Yeah, that's...
Like the torch was being passed down to me, even at an early age.
Right. So shout out to Ken Swift, you know, for putting you on the platform, you know.
Yeah, my dad and Ken Swift, they did this jam, so they were the ones that put me on first.
Yeah. And wasn't that like
another local jam, too?
That was like a forward battle.
Yeah, it was just like a forward battle.
I remember that.
I was using like all vinyl back then.
Woo.
So,
man.
I was nervous, though.
You were carrying them crates?
You know, if you get nervous and you're playing off of vinyl, it's kind of bad.
I feel you, bro. So you getting them butterflies, right?
Yeah. It was trippy. It was definitely trippy, you know, just to make that transition of battling all the time and then getting into DJing.
Right. I mean, you got to start somewhere, so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a resume in itself, how you started, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Ken Swift, jam, like, come on, man. That's heavy right there, you know?
Yep.
Then you become the DJ. Omar's trolling, bro. Shouts to House. He's just joined. Everybody's joining, man. Word. So that was your first big event, right? That
Well, the first big event was the Alpha Fame Bronx 2006.
Right.
And actually, I failed. Like, oh man, it was all bad. Someone, I don't know who it was, but they connected everything to one power strip. So one of the turntables is like cutting in and out. So like,
oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know if like a lot of b-boys like realized it, but the turntable was shutting on and off. So like the speed would go fast and then, you know, or normal speed, and then it would just like slow down like crazy. And then, yeah, some people were like complaining.
Well, you're like, oh, damn, that's crazy, right? How you start off like that, but here you are, right?
Yeah. It was pretty much my first shot, and I failed. And I remember Cross was giving Polsky shit about it, like, yo.
Nah, yeah. Never again.
Yeah, don't do that again. Don't put the young blood on unless you got.
Yeah. I feel you, man.
Experience.
But that's a lesson.
But it was a good lesson, though, you know, because I feel like at that time, like when I was talking to Polsky, I was kind of hyping up myself too much, you know. And then that happened, and it definitely humbled me.
Word.
Because I was like, I don't know, I was kind of feeling myself like I was, you know, finding all these crazy records. Right. And I knew no one in the States was really playing shit like that, so I was just kind of hype off that. And then, you know, that happens, and it was just like, oh, man.
Hey, that's a life lesson to be learned, you know?
Yep.
I mean, that's the thing why, you know, I'm having these type of conversations. So, like, new generation, whenever I'm going to reshare this, you know, after his end. But, you know, for them to learn, like, hey, never give up, you know, even if you fail, keep going, man, you know, keep going. Shouts to Paul, yo, what up?
I mean, to this day, I mess up every now and then, so.
Wow. Even big events, right?
Yeah, sometimes it happens. I can't front.
Wow.
So, yeah, just from there, I just kind of kept with it. And then I would say, like, probably, like, 7 years ago is when I decided to make it a living, so.
Yeah, you start just traveling everywhere, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And so let's get into the little history of DJing. So we all know hip hop DJs set the tone, right?
Yeah.
And all that. But now what I know is about you is you always been a student of the game, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Even when you got into DJing, you reach out. You even go to Park Jam. You know, you even DJ with Jazzy J and all of them, like all the OG. Like, so let's talk about your experience. You know, of those times where you know spend time with the OGs.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of happened naturally as well. So I was going to New York a lot from a whole time frame with my dad and like Poop. We went like pretty much almost every weekend. Like maybe the summer of 2003 or 2002. And just during that time, you know, if you're in New York, you just bump into situations where you just be hanging out with pioneers and legends. And it wasn't like anything crazy, you know, that's just the environment. And yeah, so I started kicking it with Gump. And Gump kind of put me on just to like a lot of knowledge, and he was just bringing me around different heads. Like we used to chill at Big City Records. Shout out to homie Jared, and dude, Q-Tip would be at the register like working, and they would just give me like,
oh, okay,
yeah, it's like everyone would come through there, you know, and the homie Jared and Gump, they were like definitely like putting me on to game. Like they gave me this WizKid mixtape, and I guess this was like some game-changing shit back in '82. Just on some DJ shit. So yeah, I mean that was one thing, and then of course my dad had his connections with different heads out there.
Right.
I was just around it, and then Christy Z hit me up, I think like in 2008, to spin at Tools of War Park Jam with Fable and I believe Jazzy J. And yeah, it just kind of happened right there. And then from there on, I just started doing the Tools of War Park Jam.
And it's dope, right? Just to be in that atmosphere, you know, just to have that, like, in that zone.
Yeah,
wow,
like,
we're spending with legends right here, man.
Yeah, that's the essence of this whole culture. So once you're in that environment, you totally understand it. That it's not just like you go to a jam and then, all right, the jam's over and this is it. That's all the hip hop you get. Over there, especially in New York, like you literally see like grandfathers and grandmothers like dancing, and they know all the lyrics to a lot of the classic records that we dance to. So you really see like, damn, this is like their culture, you know, like this is how they speak, this is how they walk, this is how they talk.
Right.
So it's like a deeper level of just understanding what we're doing. It's really just like old New York culture. And you just see how like people had all those traumatic experiences, like they were able to channel that energy into something dope. Correct.
So as a new, basically you're the face of the new generation for DJing, I
wouldn't say that as a whole, but maybe as far
I'm
as
saying
like,
one of, right, within Breakin, right, within the Breakin community, right?
Yeah.
So for new heads that come into the game that want to start DJing, you think it's important to dig deep on the historical side of
DJing. I mean, you got to understand what you're doing. You have to trace back where everything comes from in order for you to have a better understanding of what you're doing. So, I was lucky enough, though, to be put in a lot of situations. I mean, I would also knock on doors or whatever, too, but a lot of it kind of happened naturally just because I just put myself in that environment. So I feel like it's a little more difficult to do that now. I'm not sure, but I feel like there's not as much happening in New York. But back then, for sure, you go to Rocksteady Anniversary or Zulu Anniversary, like, just from you being there, you're going to see someone that did something, in this culture. So it was just the environment. It wasn't like anything too crazy. But coming from the outside, yeah, it is crazy. But being in New York, it wasn't a crazy thing. It's just like, this is what's happening. If you're around it, then you were lucky. So I guess I was just lucky enough to have my dad, who's been in the game for a long time, and then being close to New York to soak up all that knowledge.
Right. Yeah, man. I think it's important, just to even understand what you're a part of,
Yeah.
There's a lot of gems that even can upgrade your skill level, right? I mean,
100%.
Know certain things that the OG does, and then you can innovate off whatever the OG taught you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, as far as so now we here, right? So, as you know, with all the events, with the copyright issues and all that, right? Now we get into the era within Breakin', of course, right? I'm not talking about the whole hip hop. I'm just talking about Breakin' aspect. Now we come in the era where big events happening, live streams happening, Red Bull BC1, etc. Copyright issue comes up. So now you got people like you who add value to the game by producing beats for the breakers, right? So can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Well, starting off, it was another situation where I kind of got just thrown into it, So I believe it was the BC1 2013. My initial plan was just to get just a bunch of records cleared. So I sent in a list of maybe like 45 or around 50 records that I wanted to play. And they were only able to clear like 5 of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and it didn't matter if they had the money or whatever. It's just like sometimes it's hard for them to get in touch with, especially to a lot of the shit that we dance to because
right, the old.
Yeah, a lot of that shit's from like the 60s or 70s. So sometimes some of those labels don't even, they're not even around anymore, you know?
Right.
Or maybe the artist or publisher or whatever, like they passed away. So it's just like, it's tricky to get in touch with certain people. And even then, maybe the label doesn't like Red Bull or something, you know? So it's a lot harder and complicated than what people think. So once I got put in that situation, then I knew the homie Peyton Locke, like he made beats, whatever. So we just kind of collaborated on some stuff. And yeah, from there, I seen like just a whole new pathway. And at first, I didn't think of it in terms of, oh, this music's going to be played everywhere. I just kind of had the mindset like, oh, this is going to be played for this World Finals, and that's it, you know? But then I seen like how much impact it had, and I was like, oh, damn, you know?
Had to start bootlegging your stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was happening even before then, you know, just from the mixtapes.
Right.
So then the following year, actually, I moved to LA, and I just seen it as an opportunity to just build with people. So I just started just hitting up a bunch of producers that I like, and not necessarily being like into making break beats, whatever. I just wanted to experiment with it. So I contacted guys like J Zone, who's like a dope drummer and MC. I did hit up a few guys like Large Professor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I had some other homies that were doing their thing locally, Mr. Carmack, and I seen him actually at a party. I like this music, but I seen him at a party, and he was like playing drums and shit, and I was impressed. I was like, damn. Just talked to him, see if he was like down with it. He's like, yeah. And then he kind of introduced me to a bunch of people. So it was just kind of an experiment at first, you know, just with building with different heads that I looked up to and seeing what we could do. Because it was kind of just a new thing, you know, like making music for B-boys. It's kind of tough.
Now, are they just using drum machine or using like real live instruments?
Yeah, we use live instruments.
Okay.
The only stuff that we use drum machines for is like the homie Strobe. He's so happy with it. He had able to push so he could program it to where it sounds exactly like a real drummer. But he's actually a drummer, so he understands.
Okay.
So, yeah, man, it was just an experiment for me, and I didn't understand, like, the impact that it would have. Because, like I said, I made that music purposely just for, like, that one event, and that was it. And then it kind of transformed into, they started using more of the music for more of the events. So then I've been having to, like, think more strategically about things. And every year I try to do something new, you know?
Shout to Luigi. Luigi said, Kid David, the best DJ. You funny, man. So, yeah, you basically create a whole entire lane, you know, with the sound and everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's been others that do it for me, too. But I think as far as really pushing it, it's been, I've been, I guess, one of the leaders in that. But it's tough, man. Like, you know, if you think about it, even someone like James Brown, you know, there's only so many records that he made that we actually break to. Because he didn't make music for breaking.
Right.
So when you, like, try to force ideas sometimes, it's like it doesn't really come out, you know?
Have you ever thought of getting with, like, a funk band? And maybe...
Yeah, I mean, I work with funk musicians.
Right.
So,
okay.
The homie V Bravo, he doesn't necessarily make, like, straight up JB style funk, but he makes more of like the Zapp and Roger style of funk.
Right.
It all comes from, you know, that JB style of funk, so it's the same foundation. And then I got the homie Beto who plays percussion. He plays conga, bongos, and just... Yeah. That's percussive. And then, I had Stro play drums, and then sometimes, you know, I'll hire a session musician to play bass or guitar. So actually, most of our stuff, probably 98% of the stuff that we made at least includes some sort of like live instrumentation. So yes, because we can't really use samples or anything, you know. So we have to like be careful of all that. But I don't know. I guess maybe the way that I could play it, or maybe the way that it could be arranged, it's a little different, you know. Because the thing about a lot of the funk records, a lot of that is them like jamming out, and then maybe within that session they come up with something cool, and they either reinterpret it or they just take it out of that jam session. So that's why it kind of has that feel. So yeah,
as far as
I collaborated also with Fusic and Felix and those guys too. So
yeah. Shouts to Fusic. Yeah. They hold it down, real.
Yeah.
When it comes to copyright stuff, just say you're a band, right? With your funk musician, if they say, okay, let's do give it up and turn it loose, are they able to do that, or no, they can't? You breaking up, bro?
Yeah, you couldn't do that legally unless you got.
There we go.
So you're saying if a funk band plays like a cover song,
right?
Is that doable? Well, it depends on the situation. So for something like the BC one, it wouldn't work. Just because they have, just with their whole, their company, they're obviously a super famous company, and it's very easy for someone to tune in and to like kind of check on that, you know? So they don't want to chance something like that. So doing covers is not actually legal unless you get like sample clearance or clearance from the artist.
Okay.
So it's not as easy as what people think, you know? There's still like
this process.
It's a little bit different when things get corporate, you know? Like when money gets involved, then obviously people want their money.
I'm sure Red Bull's lawyer would be like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on, I'm going to actually click off this and come back on because I can't really hear you.
So with the copyright, they clowning.
Yo, we can't. Yo,
we did do it. It was working earlier.
Omar's messing me up right now.
Everybody's like, Lean, you want that dial up?
I got a little dial up over here.
Word. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, when it comes to corporate, they have a whole lawyer department, and they're gonna advise. No.
Well, it's not even them. It's just just in general, like they have just so many people following their shit. That it's very easy for someone, especially maybe someone from the James Brown estate, to find out.
Right.
To see that shit everywhere. Like they have commercials, have all this stuff. So it's not like just a few hundred people watching it. It's like millions of people watching it.
Right.
Or hundreds of thousands of people watching it. So it's a huge risk. So yeah, I know people have been complaining a lot about music these last couple of years, but it's just like, it's tough, man. It's tough coming up with the ideas, and it's tough trying to get sample clearance. And the other part of it too is, even if I was to get a song cleared, as a DJ, I still need to find a song that goes well with that song. So sometimes it's like, damn, like I can't just play this one song and then
you gotta mix it, right?
You gotta mix it right in order for it to sound good. So I think that's the other part of it that people kind of overlook sometimes. Because that also happens. So I did get maybe out of those 5 songs, I ended up maybe using 3 of them. So 2 of the songs that I could have potentially cleared were like that. And it was like, in the BC one, there's only so many rounds. So it's just like, it didn't fit with anything that I had. So it didn't really make sense to clear them,
Casper.
And yes, Luigi won.
Luigi won. Based on Casper. Yeah, man. So, yeah, a lot of people, some, they were like, well, the music, this, that, and the third. But, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of process behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're at, the beginning grounds of it. So it's going to be a matter of time, when it starts getting a lot better. But we're at, the beginning stages. So we got to work with what we have at this moment. And, you know, the other thing about it, too, is just like, why are we relying on all these big jams to do that? And I mean, you could still throw a small jam and not have to worry about live streaming anything.
Right.
And I think people get that sometimes. It's just like, you know, yeah, these big events have a big influence, but you can still do your own jam.
Right.
You know? But it's
and usually how long does it take to produce a track, you know?
I mean, it varies, man. Like, you can make a track maybe in a couple minutes, you know? Sometimes it takes a full year. Sometimes it takes a couple months. Sometimes it takes a couple days.
What's the average, though? So say, bro.
I mean, there's no average, you know? Like,
really?
It's like,
okay.
Yeah, like you creating a move. How long does it take you to create a move?
Yeah, I feel you.
Dope, you know? It just depends on maybe how you're feeling, if you're motivated. There's a lot of different factors, so there's not really a time limit on, oh, this song's going to take me 2 hours to make. Like, you just don't know.
Right.
And if the brain is working, and if you're in a good mood, you know, and there's a good vibe. So a lot of different factors into that.
Omar said 4 years.
No, real. Like, I don't have it.
4 years? No, like, it can take that long, right? Like,
yeah, it could take 10 years. What happens sometimes is you be working on one song, it can sound dope as shit, and then you listen to it the next day and it's just trash. It's crazy, bro. Like, I didn't even get it at first. I'm like, yo, this sounded dope yesterday, but damn, today it sounds like trash. So then what happens sometimes is, like, I'll just shelf it for a long time, and then I'll get back to it like a year later or something, or like 2 years. So
right.
It's just like connecting a puzzle. So
do you ever feel like stressed out, like really stressed out? I know it's fun, it's passion, but
yeah, I'm always stressed out with this because, you know, I do care about the quality of the music, and of course I always want to play like new shit and like dope shit, but it gets hard sometimes, you know, especially like when I'm traveling, because I'll come back home like exhausted. I don't feel like making beats. I don't feel like digging. I don't feel like doing anything sometimes, you know. And then, you know, doing events back to back to back, it gets exhausting. And, you know, I could also decline them sometimes, but I do that. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes, you know, bills got to get paid. You got to do what you got to do. So
right. Man.
It's tough.
Yeah, and then that's the thing.
We don't have it. We don't have it like, you know, how these rappers have it, you know, where they could just make all this money, chill.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing is, a lot of people don't know there's hard work, there's stress involved.
I mean, you see only the DJ behind the, you know, the turntables, and that's it. Like, you don't see the amount of time that he spends digging for a lot of records, or on the other end of producing tracks. Like, they're not in the studio with you. They're not at the record store with you. Like, they don't know. So it's just like, you only hear the music, but you don't actually see the work that's being put in.
Right.
So, I mean, it's very easy to complain things. And I get it, you know, people care, but sometimes it's just like, yo, like, I can only do so much. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of pressure on my hand, especially as someone that's been playing consistently at a lot of these bigger jams for the past 10 years and, like, constantly having to reinvent myself and just making sure that I bring that vibe all the time.
Yeah,
because I feel like I'm one of the few that has that connection between the new generation and then the old generation.
Right. And that's why I call this you know, conversation bridge the gap is we were able to, like, I was speaking to Jay Skills. Jay Skills brought up a great point where our generation, where we came up, we were able to link with the older generation, right? And then we have the visibility and that connection to the new generation. So we're the one who gotta, you know.
Yeah, we got that spirit alive. So
yeah.
If we put it, then it dies. So I think about that all the time when I'm just like, even when I'm not feeling it, I'm like, damn, well, it's kind of my duty to do this, or else I feel like a part of it would die out.
Right,
you know?
right.
Because not everyone has access to first-hand knowledge or the second-hand knowledge,
Right. Yeah, exactly, man. And we
we're
got to bridge
fortunate
that gap.
we could just maybe make a phone call, or maybe we go to New York or wherever OGs, and we could connect with them. And it's a lot harder for these younger kids because, for one, they don't know who these people are, and for two, sometimes it's just like if they don't. Some people aren't gonna just want to give you that knowledge straight up, unless they know you. So,
Right. Especially the OG,
Yeah.
They still on that street mentality, that trust issue. But yeah, man, I mean, that's the thing with us. We just got to carry that tradition and able to adapt as well, right? Because I see a lot of cats, in our generation that they can't adapt to new things that's going on. They just
that's always, that's always gonna happen. So I know over the years you kind of lose some of the purity, but we just gotta keep pushing, man. We gotta keep pushing that vibe and that spirit, and we're the ones that understand the essence the most for this new generation. So it's important for us to be around and share that with them.
Yeah, and it comes back to the next topic I want to talk about is mentorship, right?
Yeah.
So who basically mentored you? I'm sure you said your dad, but
dad is obviously
is your main mentor.
Yeah, he's my mentor, and he mentored a lot of people. He was just kind of like a father figure in the b-boy community in general.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so do you think it's important to have mentorship, for the new generation coming up and find that mentor?
It is. I feel like with having a mentor, then you kind of have the shortcuts in the game, You don't make the mistakes that your mentors make. So it's important to have someone that could guide you and help you not make those same mistakes. But, sometimes you got to make those mistakes on your own. I think that's important, but...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's also important, listen to the elders and really soak up that game.
Right.
It's going to make your life a lot easier, so you got to deal with the shit that they dealt with. Because a lot of things happen before happen now. It's not like those things happen and that's it, Like, a lot of issues happen. A lot of the same issues happen in every era. So, yeah, my dad was, obviously a big mentor to me. And then, like I told you, Polsky was a mentor on me on a business level as far as just learning how to market myself and put myself out there and not being afraid. Although I felt like myself, I wasn't good enough or whatever.
Right.
And guys like Gump and Timber were definitely mentors, just as far as understanding just breaks and shit like that, Without even trying, they were just putting me on to game,
Right. Horsepower.
Yeah.
Word. So one of the questions a viewer asked, what program do you use to make your beats?
We're using mainly Ableton for that.
Ableton. Okay.
Yeah.
Word. And you make beats. So for you make the beats like the bass line or what? And then the musician would add on to it or what?
No, I mean, usually we lay down the drums first. Because I feel like especially if you're going to dance to some shit, the drums got to be...
Of course.
And it needs to have that feel. Because if you don't have the drums with that feel, then it doesn't move the same way. So it's actually harder for you to come up with bass lines and everything. So the process, typically for, more of the funk and b-boy shit, is definitely drums first. And then, maybe we lay down a bass line or could be whatever, after that. But the drums are the foundation. The drums is what make people dance.
Of course. And after, other people put their layers on. Yeah,
so it could be the guitarist, playing some shit, or it could even just be percussion, just have the homie play some congas or whatever.
That's dope. And And do you have to rent out a studio, or do you have
That
a studio?
happens. So we're mainly working out of my boy B Bravo's crib.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes we work out of my homie Salva's studio. And yeah, every once in a while we'll do the Red Bull studio, but that place is like super busy. So obviously they got big name producers coming in and out, so it's always booked out. So we have to like book out in advance.
Right. Stereo Fuzz asks, where will you be DJing in the near future?
Well, I have two parties.
You got Silverback coming up, right?
Sorry, what?
You got Silver coming up?
Yeah. So
And
I have,
then
as far as
freestyle
B-Boys, I have Silverback, freestyle session, and then Battle of the Year. And then I'm doing this other jam in Boston called Enter the Shaolin, I think.
Oh,
So
snap.
Yeah. So those are like the last 4 B-Boy events that I'm doing this year. And then in between all that, I'll be doing some parties here in LA. And then I'm doing actually a set at Amoeba next week with all vinyl. So that should be dope.
Oh, snap. Oh, Flag's in the building. What up, Flag?
What up, Flag? Crazy Flags.
Yeah, y'all was out there in the Youth Olympics just holding it down. Y'all was freezing, right? I saw the footage.
No, actually, it was hot as shit. I was like sweating.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
the judges was cold.
It was just really the last day where it was just like raining and the weather was
Yeah, yeah. That's that 2-on-2 fine.
The other days it was hot. I was like dying, bro. Like,
Right. And
actually
people
at one point I couldn't see my computer screen at all. Like,
what? It was foggy?
no, it wasn't foggy. It was just the sunlight was beaming on me.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't even see anything.
Dang.
Like trying to pick out songs or whatever because I couldn't even see. So I was like, yo, it was kind of.
He was freestyling it, like, oh, snap.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I was like, damn, I can't even see my screen right now. I can't even pick out this song.
Yeah, some of the beats y'all played was mad dope, man. I was like,
Yeah,
dang.
yeah. We tried to mix it up. So actually, the homie Felix, he hooked it up with a lot of tracks.
Oh, okay.
So I was to like play some of the live, more of the live feel, and then playing, obviously some of the beats that Flag and I produced. But I had some other stuff too that I did with some of my guys that were on the live tip. So I played some of that too. So it was cool, man. I felt like it gave it a good balance. Like, yeah, we didn't have a lot of classics to play, but it still had that feel,
Mm-hmm. And what's your opinion for those who, kind of feeling iffy about the Youth Olympics? I mean, you have any advice for them?
Well, I can definitely say the overall experience, it was dope. Like, it was definitely better than I thought it was going to be. It's tough though, like we're still at the beginning stages. So of course there's just going to be these people that are iffy about it. Mm-hmm. But you got to have some trust too, especially if you're going to see like some people in the lineup like Legs, Moy, AT, Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Myself, like, we have chosen this culture. So if you see people like that, then I think you should ease up a little bit, because for sure through that whole process, we're making sure that certain things would be right,
Right. Yeah, I mean, all you guys are involved, so I think it's a good look, and that's the thing. When I was watching, it's nothing was watered down. You know what I'm saying? It was just a regular jam, like what we do nowadays. It's not like, oh, you can't do this and that. Like, nah, everybody was doing their thing. So.
Yeah. There was, there were little, but overall, man, like it was dope. Like, I quite honestly, I wasn't expecting the best out of it. I wasn't sure, but then it just turned out to be like barely any issues at all, and people actually loved it the most because I felt like we brought that vibe, because for all the other sports, it's a little different, like they don't have DJs, they don't have someone hosting to keep people entertained, so like it was just entertaining the whole time. And then obviously a level of some of these kids, like they're crazy. Like, you know, Bumblebee and D-Man and all these kids, like, they're already high level B-boys, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the crowd came through. The crowd was...
Yeah, yo, they were in it. Like, they were hyped the whole time. Yeah. Like, they literally stayed the whole 3 hours the last day, and it was raining.
Hey, that's love right there.
Yeah, that's love, you know? So, I feel like with just the vibe that we brought, like, it felt just like a regular jam.
Right.
So I can say that to anyone that's iffy about it, that I know from that, this past week, it felt good, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, y'all held it down for us, you know what I'm saying, as a community, you know, so I was proud. I was, you know, honestly, I was like, man.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, it didn't even hit until I was like midway done with the trip. And then I started finding out things like that breaking is actually the first dance to be included in the Olympics. So, like, damn, out of like almost 200-year history of the Olympics happening, breaking is the first dance to be included into the Olympics. And from what I heard, some rumors, I guess other dance styles, like, they've been trying to get in for years, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And having their community back it up. And our community was kind of like 50-50, you know? So it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of the ballroom dancers or whatever who were trying to get Olympics, like, they had a lot more support on their side than breaking actually did. And it actually worked. So.
Yeah, what I know is about the commentator, she was like giving us props, you know, as a community and all that, and how proud we should be. And I know for damn sure the whole community wasn't like that for us, you know. I'm like, man, we just need to move forward and just support each other.
Yeah, it was just dope, man. Like, just to bring everyone that we had there together.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all worked as a team, you know, put our egos aside and just worked as a team and did our best to make sure that that'll be the best that it could be.
Right.
We had Legs there, and, you know, obviously Legs was keeping things in check. And then with Storm and Renegade, you know, they're very well organized in how they move. And just Flag and I, we've been building, like, a lot more, like, the past 2 or 3 years. So we kind of already had the chemistry of, like, spinning jams together and working together, you know? So, like, Flag actually, he like, provided a lot of the interlude music, whatever, you know? Because most of the stuff that I produce is mainly, like, breaks or whatever. So it just kind of helped with the whole setting of the event. Like, in between battles and during, like, beginning of the battle or, like, the ending ceremony. So it gave it a vibe, you know? So we worked together, and I like, helped him out with some tracks.
I'm actually going to kick Flag on here, and we're supposed to schedule one, probably one in November, man.
Yeah.
So I got Moy Wednesday, and then next week I got Gravity coming up. So yeah, I mean, it's great. Who's your favorite producer at the moment, Lean?
Man, at the moment, it's hard to say. I mean, pretty much a lot of my friends.
Word.
Like Roy Elliott, Tico, this guy named Ruckazoid, he's pretty crazy. I mean, the all-time great Pete Rock.
Word.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's some names in my head. It's actually, like, it's too much for me to even name just one person.
I feel you, bro. How about Dilla? You feel Dilla?
Of course.
No doubt.
Yeah. But, you know, if you like Dilla, then you have to like Pete Rock, because Pete Rock is actually...
Of course.
Who Dilla was inspired by, so...
Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going ham in the...
Yeah.
B-Boy News. Yeah, Casper, bring B-Boy News back, bro. For real. Lean, do you ever play in San Francisco? Someone asked that.
Yes, I do. I was actually there. Well, I didn't play in San Francisco, but I played. We did a tribute jam for Float in Berkeley at the Circle of Fire spot, the studio that they have up there. I think it's Movement Studio.
Mm-hmm.
So that was about a little over a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm not in the anymore.
And someone asked, in terms of style, which influences you the most? East side or west?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I guess everything, right? You influenced by everyone. So, someone asked, will you ever do an MC battle?
Nah, I wouldn't play myself. I'm not like crazy turntablist like that. You know, I keep it basic, keep it funky, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the thing with Lean. He knows his lane. You know, some cats get big-headed, like, yeah, I can do this. You know, thinking that, yeah, this, that, and the third.
I mean, I'm sure if I practiced at it, I could do it, but it's never been my interest. That's not like why I got into.
Right.
I got into mainly more so for the music, more than anything else. And I'm not like trying to knock the turntablist aspect, but yeah, you know, it's dope what they do, but that's just not. Yeah. What I'm really myself, you know, that I could honestly say, oh man, like I'm gonna be practicing scratching every day, whatever, you know, like I'm not really like a. So.
And Lean Rock, you can DJ a party, bro. You be vibing it out, man. That's the thing, like you hold it down, man, when it comes to the party aspect, man.
Yeah, I go through phases though. Sometimes. Sorry, that was my girl making some weird noises in the back. Anyways, yeah, I go through phases. Sometimes I don't want to play any parties, and I just want to play jams, and then sometimes I don't want to play parties. But yeah, that transition kind of just happened when I turned 21, when I was able to go out more and just observe other DJs and like seeing how they would rock it and just observing that energy. And what I try to do now is include that energy, because that's actually the foundation of just hip hop in general, you know, like the party. So when I play at a jam sometime, if I'm feeling like really good, if I'm in a good mood, then I'll bring that into the jam, you know, because I think it's important. But obviously sometimes it's a little awkward because there's not enough females there. So it's like usually at a party, like when I'm spinning, it's important just to, you know, play for the females because they're the first ones to dance.
Of course.
And the guys on the dance floor. So, and yeah, a lot of
the ladies going
lack that feminine energy. So sometimes it could be a little awkward too. But yeah, when I just kind of get off the vibe and just, I'm always just listening just to music. Even if I don't really like it, like I'll go out to different parties just to days are playing or whatever, you know? Just to see like...
Right. Yeah, you were kind of breaking up a little bit. Didn't really hear what you said, but...
Oh, I was just saying...
Lean, yeah. This live gonna end. I'm gonna re-add you, all right? I'm gonna end it and come back and re-add you, all right?
All right, cool.
All right.